Hello board game brothers and sisters, and welcome to a new video series I'm trying out where I let you know if Kickstarters are backed last week. If you're unfamiliar with my content, I actually already was making these videos, but this segment was always at the end of my weekly upcoming Kickstarter video that I post each Sunday. If you haven't seen that before, definitely check it out. I'll leave a link to it up here in the corner, and it's something that I offer each week where I go over all the upcoming Kickstarters that I'm aware of, and with the level of detail I go into, it's not something that you'll find on any other channel. This segment is actually really short, but I noticed a lot of viewers of my other video would jump to the end to see what I backed and my opinion of why I backed it. So I decided instead of putting this all in one video, it's probably best to split it out into two videos so you can watch whatever most interests you. Enough about that, let's check out what I backed last week. And the first game I backed is called Mantis Falls, a Game of Trust. And this is actually a deduction game that plays a low player count, which you don't see too often with deduction games. And it takes about 60 to 90 minutes to play. And in this game, players are taking on the roles of either an assassin or a witness. And the whole premise of this game is that the witnesses saw something they weren't supposed to see, which is putting their life in danger, so they need to leave town for their own safety and to win the game. At the start of the game, players are drawing cards in secret that tell them if they're an assassin or a witness. The witnesses lose the game if any witness dies before they reach the end of the road. The funny thing about this game is it's possible that all players are witnesses and there's no assassin at all. In this case, the witnesses just need to win by not killing each other before they reach the end of the road. This is easier said than done because they don't know if that other player is an assassin or a witness, and there's going to be a lot of events along the road that are going to put that trust into question. So this is actually a game that I wasn't even planning to back at all, but the more I looked into it, the more and more potential I saw with this game. So this game actually won quite a few awards, and a lot of people might overlook that, but to me it's actually really important information because it means that they've been getting their game out in front of people and playtesting it and getting feedback and tweaking it to make it the best game that it can be. Playtesting is so important, and I've seen a lot of new designers fall into the trap where they think that playtesting their own game or playtesting their game with their small circle of friends is enough, and it's really not. To actually get good, unbiased feedback, you need to get strangers to play your game, and you need to get as many people to play your game as possible. When I see awards like these, it's like a badge of honor that proves to me that these developers are taking the right steps to develop their game, and they're open to taking the criticisms and feedback that go along with that. And it's really not an easy thing to do to hear criticisms about a game that you've put so much of yourself into, but it's really the only way that you could even get like a decent game to something that's amazing. So I think I've ranted about this enough, so I'll just jump to the reasons why I backed the game. And honestly, if you really want to be convinced, I'd recommend watching 𝗚𝗚𝗟𝗀𝗀 run through of the game. Not only do they do a great run through, but it's super entertaining and it really seems to capture the essence of the game, and they do a great job of explaining what they're doing and why as the game progresses. After watching that video, I really felt like I knew as much about the game as if I played it for myself, and I gotta say I was really impressed with how the game played out. The game looks super polished, and even I could feel the tension as the game progressed. There's a saying that there's no great games, just great experiences, and if that's the goal, I really think that this game might be a masterpiece. It does such a great job at creating the atmosphere that it intends to, and I really think it's going to leave players with a story and an experience that they're going to be talking about after the game ends. The price for this is a little bit steep for a box of cards, especially when you consider shipping to Canada, where I happen to be, but this isn't just a box of cards, it's a box of cards that offers value in its own way. And I think that the experience that this offers is quite a lot different than anything I have on my shelf, and I do think with the low player count, it's really easy to get this to the table. So with the value that this offers to me, I'm happy to pay the price. And the next game I backed is also a deduction game, which is sort of funny because I'm normally not a huge fan of deduction games. And this one's called Houston, We Have a Dolphin. And this is a game for 3 to 5 players and takes about 20 to 40 minutes to play. And in this game, players are trapped on a malfunctioning spaceship, and each player is going to be controlling a crew of astronauts. And if any astronaut in your hand is a dolphin, then you're trying to win the game by reaching the dolphin's goal, which is to flood the ship full of water. This game goes through several rounds of 2 phases until one team wins the game. And the first phase of each round is the spacewalk, where astronauts are trying to release different modules on the ship in order to restart the computer. So players are going to be putting astronauts out on the ship, and as they're doing this, they're scanning them in the camera of the phone so that the app registers which astronauts are put out in which order. And a different order of astronauts will have a different result. So the human astronauts are trying to have a pattern that releases the module, while any of the dolphin astronauts are going to be trying to do anything else. Depending on the results of the spacewalk, you're going to have some information as to the intentions of the players. During the second phase of the round, one player is going to have a captain card in their hand, and whoever that player is, they get to dictate what happens next. At this point, the captain could just say to flood the ship and the Dolphins would win. The problem with this approach is that players could form a mutiny against the captain and take control of the ship for themselves. There's a great video that walks you through exactly how the game's played, and I'll leave a link to it up here in the corner if you want to check it out. But I think this game has a lot of neat mechanisms that play really well together, and I really like the fun theme that comes with this game. The price point of this one is about the same as Mantis Falls, and my justification for it is about the same as well. I'm actually pretty excited about these two because it's very rare that I find deduction games that I think I'll actually like. I hope this video was helpful to you and that it might have put a couple games on your radar that you didn't know about before. If you like what I'm doing, make sure to subscribe because I release these videos each week, and until next time, keep that shelf cluttered and the table full.